Well, let's start with a big announcement that has been made by the Union Home Ministry, and this is a big move that has been announced by the Modi government. The government which has now decided to create 5 new districts in Ladakh.
Recently, the Union Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, announced the creation of 5 new districts in Ladakh, namely Zanskar, Dras, Sham, Nubra and Changtam. Later, the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, described this move as a step towards better governance, promising that the new districts will bring services and opportunities closer to the people. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to discuss about the latest move of the Home Ministry, which is creation of 5 new districts in the Union Territory of Ladakh.
नमस्कार। आज लद्दाख में 5 नए जिलों की घोषणा होने पर सबसे पहले तो मैं अमित शाह जी और मोदी सरकार का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं लद्दाख के लोगों की तरफ से।
We'll also understand the protests which have been going in Ladakh since last 1 year, the polity, the geography and the strategical importance of Ladakh as a union territory. But before that, let's understand the news a bit more comprehensively. Now, this expansion of 5 districts aims to enhance the governance across the Union Territory of Ladakh, which previously had only 2 districts, namely Leh and Kargil. The decision comes days before the September 1 to October 2 Padyatra to Delhi, which is planned by the Leh Apex Body, an influential civil society group. Now, the Leh Apex Body, along with the Kargil Democratic Alliance, an influential party, has been demanding statehood for the Ladakh since the year 2020. Now, these local groups have been advocating for statehood and the inclusion of Ladakh under the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution, which provides protection for the tribal areas. The Leh Apex Body's co-chairman Chering Dorjoy and KDA's representative Sajat Kargili both emphasized that while the creation of these new districts is a welcome step, though it does not alter their core demands for statehood, a legislative assembly for Ladakh and the protection under the 6th schedule. Now, these moves coincides with the renewable local demands for broader protection, with climate activist Sonam Wangchuck, also known as Rancho, and others playing further protest to press their issues. Now, the creation of these new districts align with Prime Minister's government's broader vision for Ladakh following the 2019 bifurcation of Jammu and Kashmir and the revocation of the Article 370. So after understanding the news and what has been going on since last year in Ladakh, now let us try and understand the geography and the polity of the Union Territory of Ladakh. Ladakh, the northernmost region of India, is a land of stark contrast and breathtaking beauty. Known for its rugged terrain, towering mountains and vibrant culture, it is one of India's most unique regions. In the year 2019, it gained the status of Union Territory, a significant political development which marked a new chapter in its history. Now, geographically, Ladakh is often referred to the land of high passes, which is characterized by its high altitude desert environment. Ladakh is also home to several altitude lakes, including the Sanso, Somorori, and Sokar. Politically, Ladakh was a kingdom with its root tracing back to the 10th century. The region has an influence of Tibetan, Indian and Central Asian cultures over the centuries. In the year 1947, when India gained independence, Ladakh became a part of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. But on August 5, 2019, the Indian government made a landmark decision to abrogate Article 370, which granted special status to Jammu and Kashmir. As a result, Jammu and Kashmir was separately recognized and Ladakh was carved out as a separate union territory, effective from October 31st of 2019. Now, unlike other union territories, Ladakh does not have a legislative assembly, and mind you, this has been the demand of the protesters since day one. Since Ladakh does not have a legislative assembly, it is directly governed by the central government through a lieutenant governor. Ladakh comprises 2 districts, Leh and Kargil. Each of these districts is governed by a deputy commissioner who oversees the administration, law and order. The Leh district is predominantly Buddhist, while the Kargil has a significant Shia Muslim population. The Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Councils in Leh and Kargil plays a crucial role in local governance, managing small issues related to development, education, and the culture. Now, strategically, Ladakh holds immense importance due to its location, as it shares border with our two neighbors, namely China and Pakistan. The region has been a focal point of India's border dispute, particularly with China in the Aksai region area. The Indian military maintains a significant presence in Ladakh to safeguard its border and ensure the security of the region. And this has been one of the main reasons why central government directly administers Ladakh. So now that we have a comprehensive understanding about the political, geographical and the strategic importance of the Union Territory of Ladakh, let us now focus our attention on the issues which have been making life uneasy for the local population of Ladakh. Now, Ladakh has been experiencing significant and widespread protests in the recent months, with local residents demanding several key political and the constitutional changes. These protests, which have intensified since early 2024, are rooted in four primary demands. First, the granting of statehood of Ladakh, the inclusion of the region under 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution, job reservations for locals, and a separate parliamentary representation for the districts of Leh and Kargil. The roots of these protests can be traced back to Ladakh's transition to a union territory in 2019, following the abrogation of Article 370 and the bifurcation of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, before diving deep into the reasons behind the protests, let us quickly understand what is Article 370 and why did the government abrogated it. Article 370 of the Indian Constitution was a temporary provision that granted special autonomous status to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, this article allowed Jammu Kashmir to have its own constitution, a separate flag, and autonomy over its internal matters except defense, foreign affairs, finance, and communications, which was separately managed by the central government according to the Indian Constitution. Now, this article was incorporated into the Indian Constitution in the year 1949 as a part of Instrument of Accession, a type of contract signed by Maharaja Hari Singh, the then ruler of Jammu Kashmir, when the region acceded to India in the 1947. This article was intended to be temporary, meant to apply until the state's Constituent Assembly framed its constitution and decided on the state's further relation with India. The key features of Article 370 includes limited jurisdiction of the Indian Parliament. The Parliament could legislate on subjects included in the Union and the concurrent lists only, with the concurrence of the state government of Jammu Kashmir. Elsewhere in India, Indian Parliament can legislate on the subjects which are included in the Union and the concurrent list, and it does not need the concurrence of the state government. But in Jammu Kashmir, due to the Article 370, it does. The second special feature are the special rights. The residents of Jammu and Kashmir had special privilege under the Article 35A of the Indian Constitution, which included exclusive rights to property and government jobs. Now, this article specifically provides such rights only for the state of Jammu and Kashmir. However, on August 5, 2019, the Bharatiya Janata Party government, led by the Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi, took the historic step of revoking Article 370, leading to a significant political and social implications for the region. The BJP government argued that Article 370 was an obstacle to the full integration of Jammu and Kashmir with the rest of India. The BJP stance, which had long been a part of its political manifesto, was that the article fostered separatism, hindered the development of the state, and created an environment of unrest and militancy in the region, due to which the army was regularly under attack in the state of Jammu Kashmir. Now, the abrogation of Article 370 and the bifurcation of Jammu Kashmir was initially welcomed by many in Ladakh, who saw it as a move towards greater autonomy, the absence of a legislative assembly, and the direct governments by the central government. But this acceptance later turned into growing dissatisfaction. Locals started feeling that their voices are not being adequately represented in the Indian Parliament, and that the region's unique cultural and environmental needs are being neglected by the central government. Now, one of the main demands for the Ladakh is to be included under the 6th schedule of the constitution, which would provide special protection to the region's tribal population by granting them greater autonomy over land, resources and governance. This demand is particularly significant as over 97% of Ladakh's population is tribal. The 6th schedule of the constitution provides for the establishment of autonomous district councils and autonomous regional councils in certain tribal areas. Now these councils have legislative, executive and judicial powers, enabling them to make laws, execute policies and administer justice within their jurisdiction, particularly in the areas related to land, forest management, water resources, agriculture and tribal customs. Now as of today, the 6th schedule covers the tribal areas in the following 4 northeastern states of India, namely Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Now each of the above states have multiple ADCs and the ARCs governing various districts and regions within the states. Now the protests in Ladakh have seen widespread participation of people with large rallies and complete shutdowns. Thousands of people have taken to the street despite freezing temperatures, signaling the depth of their concerns. The Leh Apex Body and the Kargil Democratic Alliance, which represents the region's major political and social groups, have been at the forefront of these protests, submitting memorandums to the central government and pushing for legislative changes. With them, the climate activist Sonam Wangchuck has also been a prominent figure in the protests, highlighting the environmental risks posed by the current governance model. He has argued that Ladakh's unique environment, which includes thousands of glaciers and a delicate ecosystem, needs urgent protection from both industrial exploitation and militarization because of the China and Pakistan threat. So after understanding the protests and the reason behind it, now let us see what was the government's response. Now in the response of these escalating demands, the central government formed a high-powered committee to address the concerns of Ladakh's residents. However, despite several rounds of discussions, no significant breakthrough has been achieved, leaving the protesters increasingly frustrated. The situation remains tense as the residents of Ladakh continues to push for greater autonomy and protection. So now that we have a basic understanding of what's going on in Ladakh, let us now turn back to our earlier news of the creation of 5 new districts. Now this move was announced by Mr. Amit Shah, is seen as a significant step towards better local governance and development. And by creating these new districts, the government aims to bring officers and public servants closer to the people, particularly in the regions that have historically been difficult to govern due to their rugged terrain and isolation. The decision has been generally welcomed by the local population, who have long demanded for better governance and more focused attention to their needs. However, some local leaders and influential groups continue to advocate for additional political rights, including the statehood and the protection under the 6th schedule, which remains an ongoing point of contention. Now, this announcement comes at a critical time just ahead of the 2024 Jammu and Kashmir Assembly election, marking it as a strategic move by the central government to address the local demands and improve the administrative efficiency in Ladakh. Well, only time will tell whether these new 5 districts will serve the people better, or is it just another gimmick of the ruling government? Let me know in the comment section about your views on the topic. Thank you very much for watching the video and stay tuned for more.